perseverance of COVID-19 antibodies changes generally from one individual to another. Yogyakarta, Indonesia, February 8, 2021. A man leading the way toward taking a plasma, plus, recuperating to help the mending interaction and fortify the immune response of COVID-19 patients in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, on February 8, 2021. One of the best unsolved mysteries of COVID-19 is the reason the killing antibodies our bodies produce because of the infection will in general diminish in number so rapidly. A little minority of studies, remembering one finished for Iceland the previous summer, have noticed lengthier times of determination in their members, yet by far most, spreading over a wide broadness of individuals and spots, from specific COVID-19 medical clinics in China to medical services laborers in Tennessee, inferred that enemy of COVID-19 antibodies were quick to blur, to such an extent that a few patients didn't seem to build up any, in any event not at levels that could be recognized by analysts. Another method of deciphering this variety of information, nonetheless, is that counteracting agent industriousness differs from one individual to another, which means individuals with longer enduring antibodies wouldn't be exceptions, yet only one proviso of an overall principle. This is the contention made by another examination distributed in The Lancet a week ago, which arranged members into 5 distinct classes dependent on the titer and length of their killing counteracting agent reaction. While dissemination between them was in no way, shape or form equivalent, it ran enough to make one wonder of whether current originations of its susceptibility from COVID-19, which impact everything from cross-country antibody techniques to our individual decisions and practices, require update. The subjects of the investigation were 164 COVID-19 patients living in Singapore. Scientists gathered information on these patients utilizing both killing and restricting examines over a time of 180 days, at that point connected that information to an algorithmic model to foresee how long their antibodies would toward the end in the years and even many years following beginning contamination. In light of the lifespan of their immunizer reactions, patients were arranged into one of 5 gatherings: the negative gathering, or patients whose antibodies never arrived at noticeable levels; the fast-fading gathering, or patients whose neutralizer levels were perceptible inside 20 days of contamination, yet dropped in under 180 days; the sluggish-fading gathering, or patients who actually tried counteracting agent positive 180 days after disease; the determined gathering, or patients whose immunizer levels, over numerous months, gave next to zero indications of rot; and the postponed reaction gathering, or patients who, despite everything, had a late flood in counteracting agent levels later in their recuperation rather than after contamination. Prior immunological examination on COVID-19 set most patients in one of the initial 2 classifications, negative or quick winding down. In any case, this investigation tracked down that the spread between the quick disappearing, moderate melting away, and industrious gatherings was pretty much as near even as it gets, with about 29.8% of members falling in the fast-fading bunch, 29% in the lethargic fading bunch, and 31.7% in the constant gathering. Just under 12% arrived in the negative gathering, with a little fragment, simply 1.8%, balancing the bend in the postponed reaction bunch. This isn't to overlook the job of defensive white blood cells, which past killing antibodies probably have a section to play in building characteristic resistance, as well. Be that as it may, the elements of the killing immunizer reaction and their relationship with illness seriousness are too striking to even consider excusing, particularly since, as the scientists later discovered, they bear a specific similarity to those of SARS-CoV, the first COVID to get deadly to people. In listing 20 SARS patients who recuperated from the sickness 17 years earlier, the scientists tried whether the drawn-out ingenuity they anticipated for a subset of COVID-19 patients was obvious in SARS patients also. One gathering I've yet to examine is the most uncrowded of the 5, the postponed reaction bunch. They're pictured as a hazy situation for an explanation, not least on the grounds that the example size is simply 3 and accordingly hard to examine for significant patterns. While we can just theorize with regards to why some COVID-19 patients don't create killing antibodies until some other time in their illness course, one of the additional alarming clarifications is industrious contamination, the flip side of which is the capacity to shed irresistible, replicative infection for quite a long time at a time. This may have something to do with the presence of SARS-CoV-2 in the gut, yet further examination is expected to affirm why. We've known essentially since the pandemic's start that the pathogenesis of SARS-CoV-2 is exceptionally factor. In the greater part of individuals the infection contaminates it shows as indications that are absolutely inapparent, yet it can likewise cause demise, ongoing sickness, and everything in the middle. Not exclusively do the resistant reactions of people fluctuate broadly in their capacity to battle off the infection because of prior qualities and conditions, among them age, clinical history, hereditary qualities, and current or ongoing clinical medicines, yet the actual infection additionally has intense apparatuses available to it for meddling with different invulnerable capacities and denying them of their force. My first suggestion is to the doctors and medical care laborers at the forefronts. Were it standard practice for specialists to instruct COVID-19 patients on the meaning of their killing neutralizer levels and their relationship to safe security, they'd have the option to settle on more educated choices about their recuperation and schedules going ahead. Specialists ought to have simple admittance to broadly normalized examines they can use to quantify killing counteracting agent levels whenever the timing is ideal. My subsequent suggestion is to immunization designers and policymakers. Up until this point, the current age of immunizations has been an amazing achievement. Be that as it may, without continuous information assortment and straightforwardness from engineers, we won.